One thing I did want to talk about, because a lot of us have talked offline about this, even had some virtual meetings, is the charter school conversations going on in Danbury. Yesterday, one of the speakers, again, was Mr. Pimentel, who is a avid supporter and on the payroll of the charter schools. He talks about his life experiences, which is fair. That's what we want people to do. And of course, as a person of Latino, he has experiences that I think the community should hear and he should share, but he's using the platform as well to push for the charter schools, but that fails to mention that he is a paid employee of the charter school he is pushing. They are looking to host a rally in Danbury on the 8th of August on the green as well. I had reached out to City Center just to see how far along they are, if they even booked the space, and they did. So I want to put that on your radar. The NEA is going to, I got a message today from somebody who I'll talk to Erin and connect with her, Erin Daly. And they want to get some momentum, get some teachers speaking out against this, and they are going to be looking for support. I think it's time for a lot of us who are against, and if you're for, everybody has their prerogative, but let the community know where you stand. They're going to need help. I know they're reaching out for community for change, and I made it clear I don't speak on behalf of the group in any capacity, but I will bring it up to the group, and we do everything as a majority there. But I don't know if anybody else who was there wants to add into that. Kate, I know you connected with the group offline, and I texted you too, because I don't want anybody spinning a narrative. If you're for charter school, let's just talk facts. Let's talk about the real numbers and what's really going on. But as a group, we really have to decide if we're going to get in front of this or not. And if we're going to just, stay quiet. And if you believe it's a good resource for Danbury, again, your prerogative, and feel free to, at least hear me out. But let's connect and let's just move forward with something here. I think it's very important now more than ever because they are ramping up and our schools need help. Let's just face the facts, right? I think that the city needs to do more. I think it's a conversation, a debate that we can all have. That's the side of where I stand on, and I'm with the teachers. I'm with the NEA. So I did want to put that out there.
Yeah, I just want to, Roberta, if I just want to jump in real quick and just say, it's really perplexing to see a community conversation about accountability taking place and then have a conversation in the same breath about bringing in a charter school, because in terms of the accountability, it's privately overseen by their own board. There might be one board member from our Board of Education, but that's one vote at a table. It's not.
There's no real, understand they're not a
there's no real power there.
Board.
And while they do have to, I believe they have to submit some materials to the state does not hold them to the same standard. They're not required to meet the same standards that our public schools are. So I think, the focus, in that larger conversation needs to be around the idea of creating equity for all of our students and not just the handful that would get accepted to a charter school.
But I wanted to go back and just say one thing about Roberto's comments on the charter school and Lucas Pimentel. And, when he raises, the thing that I think is concerning to me is that he has a narrative, a story that he tells about discrimination in Danbury public schools, both the hiring of minority teachers and primarily that's his focus, and he tells it in a very compelling way, a very agitational way. And I think it's really unfortunate in some ways that it sort of tends to make you want to respond by saying, this guy is a phony because he's getting paid by, it's all about, to me, it's very opportunistic.
Pretty much where I get off the bus, Julie.
But here's the problem. You listen to the other speakers at that event who are young people who went through the Danbury schools, and some of the teachers. There was a teacher who spoke from Abbott Tech, and it's real, folks. There has been a problem hiring teachers of color for a long time in Danbury. And I don't know why. I don't know where it stems from other than the just systemic racism that's real in our lives everywhere. But I think we have to really distinguish ourselves and say, what I would say is, this is a really important conversation to have at this moment. We need to really attack systemic racism. And that means we have to do that in the Danbury Public Schools. The charter school is not an answer. To say that we can create a charter school that will hire more minority teachers, what does that say about the rest of our whole school system? So I think we really need to own this. You know, I see Kate and I see, you know, Gladys, you're shaking your heads. This is a real problem in Danbury, but let's own it. Let's not let this guy, you know, be the only person talking about this issue, because it's real. We have to talk about it. It has to be part of our narrative. It has to be part of the things that we want to attack and solve, problems we want to solve here in Danbury. I just object to the idea that we're going to do it by creating a charter school, because that's not going to help all the students who don't get into that charter school, all the students that are in the grade schools. That is not the solution. The solution is fix the problems in the Danbury public schools. That goes to funding properly from the city. That goes to the right kind of hiring. That goes to a vision and a plan for the future of Danbury public schools. You know, that means that when they go and do a referendum, and the state comes in and says, we'll cover most of what you just bonded, we don't say, okay, fine, then we don't have to put in any money in Danbury. That's we put in. So I feel like we just have to step up and make this narrative ours, and not deny the history in the Danbury public schools, because it's real.
And I totally agree with you. I've been saying it for years, and I think we need to sit down, and those people, and I shouldn't use that word, those people, because I hate that word. I think we need to have a very frank conversation with individuals that hires people, look at people, and how we turn things around to make sure that it fits the category that we want to fit when it comes to human resource, okay? And we have to also look at Beaver Brook, not just Beaver Brook, all the years where people have set up at Beaver Brook. And we have had African-American superintendent. We had an assistant superintendent that was African-American. We had a grant writer that was African-American. Those people came to Danbury, and that structure just made it so hard for them to want to stay that they decided it was time to leave. And so everyone had a piece in doing that. So, you know, but we don't want to sit around and talk about that. We don't want to sit around and talk about how do we bring people down. You just can't go every 5 years to one of the black colleges down North Carolina and think you're going to bring a whole slew of black teachers up here. It ain't going to happen. Because number one, when they come up here and they're single, there's nowhere for them to go. They don't know anyone. The rent's too high. So we're really not having no honest conversation about how we can get people here. So, I totally agree with you, Joe. And I'm too old now. I'm getting tired of fighting this battle. I really am.
Yeah, very valid points. Thank you, Julie, for bringing that up.
If I can add one line to this, I do believe, yes, we need to work on our diversity, and I think we need to work on what's all been said. But I also do not want to give credence to this gentleman. I use that term loosely for what he's been doing, because he hasn't been honest. He hasn't been truthful. And I've had members, business owners that are Dominicans, that are part of the Dominican community that he is part of, call him out because they consider that he has been nothing but trying to cause problems. He was not hired in Danbury, not because of his race, color, or anything else. It was because of his qualifications. And he doesn't really talk about that. He doesn't talk about why he was there. Now, I'm not saying that we don't have a diversity issue, but for this gentleman to come out and use that as a reason for justifying all that he said, and I'm sorry, I was highly insulted in the way he went about this. And I feel that this guy will say and do whatever it is there is a feeling amongst the people that have reached, and they've called me. I didn't call them. They've called me with issues and concerns that they have in the community that then turn around and say, you don't know what this guy's about. The only reason why this guy is doing this job, for Prospect Charter Schools are paying him $130,000 a year. He was never made that his entire life. And they dragged him in to do this, to be this spokesman, because at this point, it's whatever they will say and do, whatever it takes. So I think, though we need to look at diversity, we also need to make sure that we have the honest facts. We need to be able to be in a position to be able to tell the guy or tell people when they question us, not saying go after him and make a big statement about it, but when people do question it, be able to sit there and say, no, these are the facts and these are the truths. And if the guy wants to really have a sit-down discussion, let's talk about all of the facts. So,
Well, Ken, I have to say, I don't think he's interested in a sit-down discussion.
No.
We have to send our own messaging without maligning, his livelihood in a way.
No, but what it is when people do come forward and say, I heard this, I heard that. If we have a unified message as to what the truth is here dealing with this school, that needs to be put out there. But I'm telling you, and I've had others reach out to me to say that his own worst enemy is himself. And many people of his own community, as well as other Spanish communities, are recognizing that they are not really being told the truth. So though we need to work on Danbury, let's not get lost in what this guy has, and let's not give this guy something to stand on.
Okay. So would it benefit a group or whoever, how are we going to go about doing this? Can we look at, this is what the charter school offer, okay? Bullet points. This is what the Danbury school system offer. Could we structure something like that? So, because I have people in my own church that believe that charter schools are going to solve everything. Okay. I think that will help. You need to have something when you talk to people. And matter of fact, I don't know if Ken know the young lady, Tracy Keller. She's been in with charter schools for the last 5 years. And she's a member of my church, and she's got a group of people into her little group. So to me, I can say, I'm with the Danbury Board of Ed, and that's what they see me as. But then we have a lot of young people that have children, and they'll say, oh, Danbury schools are so crowded. I believe I would like to support charter schools. So we need to come up. This is what Danbury public schools offer. This is what charter schools offer. Okay. Nobody's telling them that charter school is going to go from 7:30 until 5:30 in the afternoon. Danbury schools ends at 3:30. Danbury school system is going to have to pick up bus transportation, which is $65,000 for one bus.
Right.
There's a whole bunch of negatives that I don't think people know about charter schools.
Right.
I just wanted to make one point, Andrea, if you allow me.
So, let me just say that I have a commitment from someone who is very good with graphics and all that, and she is willing to help us create a one sheet information that people can look at and get the differences in information. The difficult thing is it's hard to distill that down. And Roberto, I know you had a meeting with some people about that and wondering what are the messages that resonate, because their message is easy. They want to bring a school to underserved people in the community. I mean, it's very simple, even though it's not grounded in a lot. And after you speak, Roberto, Julie will be next.
I apologize, Julie. It was hard to distill, Andrea. It wasn't a quick conversation. It was a group text, and it was a lot of words, a lot of texting. I shared documents I've had and pulled out points from, the Chris Donovan document that's floated around, things I had compiled during Chris's race that I believe I shared with some too. And it was a lot of that to open eyes. So it's hard. I don't know if we have somebody in. This is where we got to, leverage our networks. Who do we know who's effective in marketing that might be good at this and can pull out these key points? But the one point I want to make is, again, I don't want to see. I'd hate to see this conversation run in circles again tonight, and that it doesn't come. We'll talk about it and have certain conversations throughout the week or two. but then we're at the same place the next time we're meeting virtually, where we really haven't done or accomplished anything. We just talked about it amongst ourselves. And I hope that, yesterday, I know Julie and I were, a little upset, right? And we got together and we talked to people as they came off the stage, right? We went to the teacher right away, Julie, at the side of the stage to talk to Mr. Velez. And funny, great story. Then we find out he was taught by Rich, and Rich photographed his wedding. But I just think it's time for us to move forward, come up, whatever the plan is, we have to do something. It's, talk is cheap. It's time for action.
Yeah. Well, this August, is it August 5th? No, August 8th event? The one that they're doing, the 8th?
Yes, August the 8th. I think that's what I wrote down. August the 8th.
Mm-hmm. Well, we can have a piece by then. I think the friend I have in mind, she's just getting over COVID, so she's lost about 2 weeks.
I guess I don't want to. I wasn't trying to really start up the whole conversation about the charter school. I think I've been really clear about where I stand on it. I have been in direct contact on many occasions with Lucas Pimentel, and I really was trying to say something a little bit different, and I don't want it to get lost. To me, there are moments that there are openings and opportunities to address really deep problems. And this is one of those moments, and it's about race. And I feel like separate from the issue of the charter school, which I am totally opposed to the charter schools, and I've been very clear about it, but I think separate from that, this is a moment when we have to go to the Danbury Public School, and with the support of many of the people that are on the school board, and we have to say, you are not doing enough in terms of dealing with racism in our school system. And that means you have to start with minority recruitment. And this is critical at this moment, because whatever happens with the charter school, Danbury schools should not be continuing along these lines. And that's the point I'm trying to make. And it's a different point. It's not to detract from the charter school discussion, which is really important to me, but it's to really focus on the change that we need to see in Danbury and in public schools.
Okay, any other thoughts that anyone wants to add?
I'm sorry, but just one last thing I want to say clearly too is that I think that when we talk about minority recruitment, that's the word that's used in some of the discussions at the legislature and in some of the bills. But I feel like we need to be really specific too about, as important as it is to have African-American teachers, we really have to focus on the recruitment of Spanish-speaking Latino teachers given the population in our city.
Mm-hmm.
Any thoughts? Any other closing thoughts? Elvis, you've been quiet. I feel like this is unusual during one of our get-togethers here.
Yes, it is. It is. I just want to say that I agree with Ken on everything that he said. I also agree with Roberto that we're going in circle with this conversation. So every month, so we go back to this, and we're not taking any action. And we are giving the opportunity to this person, to take advantage of the situation. So we are allowing him, to really make up, something that is probably not completely, true. I agree with Ken. I don't believe in his case was about, not giving the chance as a minority in the school, to get hired. I think, and I could be, I could be 100% sure that he was not hired because of, qualification. So, but at the same time, what Julie's saying is, is real. So this is a good chance for us to talk about, the inequalities and, and to not let that go, because we not putting attention to the details. The charter school is taking, some strength in the community because we are not doing anything, and the community, they want something. They want, for the kids, they want something different. Everything that they hear is about that the public school is not good in Danbury. So whoever comes with something, with a solution, at least whatever solution, they're listening to this. They're listening to that. And that's why this person, is taking advantage of that. And they're listening to him some way, somehow. So we are the ones who are way behind this, this issue or this conversation. We have to come back, to come out with a real plan, and expose everything, all the detail. If he's lying, let's expose him as a liar. But we, with the facts, with the numbers, with everything that we need to come out, we are not doing anything, unfortunately. And the community knows who he is. But the problem is that he's using a very good tools right now, to come out like a savior.
So one of the things we did see a lot is the charter school, the prospect school, pushing themselves out on social media. And I had surveyed all the state legislatures to see if they had gotten any emails from people to their call of action of reaching out to state legislators. And from what I understand is that no one reached out. Elvis, do you have a sense that, or Wilson as well, that in the Latino community that this is still something that they're pushing, the prospect school, that it has an appeal and that there's support for the charter school?
It has the appeal because, like I said, in the community, everything is about wanting to have the kids, going to getting the attention, having the opportunity to go to school and to get the proper attention. So many issues, in the community. So many issues like mental health, many issues with, problem with gangs and all of that. So, and what we think is that, that's been provided by, like, for example, the high school, the Danbury High School, or it's being provided because, Rogers Park doesn't have, the quality of academically, for kids. So whatever it comes right now, we, a lot of people are putting attention. So that's why what he did was, to try to bring some people who have some credibility in the community, some people who wants to do something, different, in that area. And then by that, he's getting more people, more credibility. It's not because it's because, people want a solution for the public school. And if they see that, as the promise is like, okay, my kids are going to have the attention and they're going to have the opportunity to have a quality, quality school. So we're going for that. The community is going for that. Because, the common parents, they don't go into details. They go into the fact that they're going to have another school where the kids doesn't get in trouble, or the kids, they're gonna have attention. It's not gonna be overcrowded. It's gonna be something different. Promising, to have a different kind of education. When you say to your kids, hey, I'm gonna, the education that your kids are gonna get is, international, global education or that kind of program. That's why he's getting attention. So that's why, programs like Westside Academy, everybody wants to get it there. All the parents in the community want the kids to go to that, to that program. So that's why they're selling that same thing here now with the charter school. and definitely is getting more and more people. You know, a couple of years ago, he was by himself with a little group. He was trying to get some support from people like me, thinking that he was, selling, something good. But the problem is that people like me would not get along with that kind of program with him because first, he knows that, we believe in the public school system. Second, we don't believe in whatever he's into because he doesn't have credibility. But in the last couple of years, he has built some because he has surrounded himself with some other people. And we allow those other people to just being brainwashed by what he's saying, and we allow him to do that. And the people that are supporting him, from our state. So that's the thing. It's about that people are listening just one way. Mm-hmm. And we've been fighting for the last 2 years about, who's right about, the public schools, the plan. But what is our plan? What is our, our numbers related to, what they're supporting? So we had the obligation to show the people, to show the community. Here where we are, we have a public system that, yes, we are in trouble, but we can fix it. But we can fix it this way. And that's not the solution. Like I told him one time, you cannot talk about that's the solution, the charter school for the public school system. That could be something that can help education in Danbury. But don't come to me saying that's replacing, the solution for the public school system in Danbury. So those type of conversation we have to have it. He's not gonna sit down, to let go what he gained so far. He's not gonna do it. Probably. I don't think that he's gonna be, stupid. Maybe. I'm sorry for the word. To say, hey, I'm gonna sit with you guys, and I'm gonna, show the people that probably you're gonna show, the right numbers. Or you should, make me feel, make me look like I'm wrong. So probably he's not gonna do that. He's gonna use all the other stage. But what we have to do is, to bring the numbers so that the people look at that, the people see it, and that we expose him the way it should be.
So Elvis, it sounds like you're ready to be on like the committee for messaging on this. You're making a lot of valid points, and really the difficulty is I have done a lot of reading. I've reached out to legislators and everyone, and it's hard. It's to distill it down. And like I said, I have someone. It's Nicole, who's helped us in the past, who to work with, and she's committed to helping us get to that piece.
Yeah, but
it's. So will you be part of that?
Yeah, Andrea, we have to be smart about this. We cannot put it in a way that is like a confrontation. If it is me being the person, I know that he's gonna put it like a confrontation.
No, I just mean as part of messaging as to the content.
Oh, yeah, no, definitely. Definitely.
I'm talking about.
Yeah, no.
Can I jump in?
Yes.
I know it's getting late and there's a lot that's been said on this subject.
Yeah.
I really think we need to do our work, as Elvis is saying, and we can. But the real solution, Elvis, what you're saying is what's always been the case. You can't win a political fight. You can't win an argument without a positive program of what do we want to do. And that's what's more important than anything this guy does or anything anybody does. We have to come forward. I think we have the capability of putting that plan together. We have a wonderful board now. We have leadership now for the first time in quite a while. And those leadership people can help guide us. We have a possibility of a new school on the west side that could be magnet school, could be like the West Side Academy. If we make it that way, if we insist that this has to be a quality program with the necessary funding, with the right teachers, we can do all of this. I mean, we have great teachers in Danbury, by the way. And I know my kids when they went here, and I know Elvis, and I've talked about this, your kid, we've got some good education in Danbury. We need it to be better. And that's what we have to project. And I think we can. I feel confident.
Yeah. But at the same time, knowing that we are behind, we lost some, some space. So we have to be smart with the community. We have to be, presenting solutions.
Exactly.
Same time, use the other part, to say beside the solution, probably the other side is not put in the way this is not a reality. At the same time, you killing two birds and with one shot, because we lost a lot of space between what they're doing and what we have not done yet, because we haven't done anything. The community haven't heard from us what is the position. Why we spent 2 years with campaigning, for the election, for the past election, and we never had that clear program about, we're gonna fix the problem, or we have solution for this problem. Still we not presenting to the community. What was the plan, the real plan for the community, to either, new school or more funding, where the funding coming from, how it's gonna be done, all of that. The community hasn't seen that. We talk about it
as an alternative, right? To be pro public schools.
So, but this is part of the issue, right? Because we're in such I talk about this a lot, but this is kind of important, because when you talk about the funding of the school systems and you talk about what the pattern of funding for the last 10 years has looked like compared to where the funding for the school system used to be, and when you take into consideration how large the schools have gotten, how many more students we've taken in, we have to come up with a plan to get people to embrace funding education again. Because it's been that funding has been withdrawn for such a long period of time that you're talking about a large sum of money that could have been used to properly staff the schools, money that could have been used to, start another building project. So, this is also about helping people understand why education and public education is important in Danbury and how that's a foundation for the community, because we need people to get on board with their taxes potentially being increased, and with advocating at the state level for increased funding from the state. The only way we're going to get heard is if we have a group of people that are going to be operating together, communicating that same messaging over and over again. And that's the difficult part, because,
but in a simplified way, right?
Right.
That people can take it in.
Right.
Yeah.
It's
tricky.
But I just say, Andrea, I think Julie was very clear, and I appreciate her comments. I think there's enough talent here, if the young lady that you had in plan to draft this, to put something together, and I think waiting another 2 or 3 weeks is a little bit too late. Let's see how soon we can get. There's enough talent here that I'm looking at. Some people I don't, I'm meeting for the first time, that something could come up, and it could be one sheet, stating where we want to move on, a charter versus public. Okay.
Yeah. And, also,
and why now the charter school? Because after 8, why they didn't do this 10 years ago? Because the funding, they're going to get more funding per student now if they open up a school. They'll be getting more funding than the public school for those students. So that's why everybody is pushing this. And then on top of that, I'm quite sure they have read about the Career Academy that's coming, okay? So now if the Career Academy comes, that's going to sort of alleviate a little bit of what they were pushing before 5 years ago. The only thing I heard them say at a 2-hour meeting is Danbury schools are overcrowded. Okay. So if they're reading about the academy and we're thinking about opening that in another year and a half, sure, they're getting a little frightened. So, I think what I'm just trying to say, and we've been on a long time, I think that we can get moving to doing something, putting something together that we can at least say to people, this is happening, and see how it works.
Okay. Yep. And if we can get that for the get to distribute at that August 5th event.
August the 8th. August the 8th, they're having the rally.
The 5th is the food distribution.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, food distribution August 5th. August 5th.
Oh yeah.
Like Community for Change. But Andrea, it's late. I apologize, everybody. I do have to log off, and I just think maybe, and I apologize. I know I went on, and this wasn't the forum for something like that. So maybe we can just stop where we are on the topic and maybe connect tomorrow morning or something and just move forward. Connect offline.
Yes to all of that.